So then, 6:33, I think we're going to call to order school committee meeting. All right, did everybody have a chance to look through the consent agenda?
I did.
Guess can I have a motion?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Second?
I'll second.
Any updates needed or discussion needed?
No.
No.
All right, so all those for accepting?
Aye.
All those against? Okay, that was quick.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a report for us tonight?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Mr. Dorman won the Duct Tape a Teacher fundraiser for the freshman class, and the seniors had a talent show scheduled for this Friday night, but it was canceled today.
So when you win the duct tape teacher, is that really a win? Or
No.
No?
Not for them.
How long are they duct taped for?
Still working it out.
Okay.
Is the one from last year down?
What?
Has the one from last year been released yet, or is he still on the wall?
Oh, no, he's still up there.
All right,
It's a way to keep everybody in check.
okay. That was it?
Yep.
Oh, nice. Did anybody want to speak tonight from the visitors? Did anybody? Nobody signed? All right.
They're just regulars. I love this so much. Yeah.
So I guess we'll go into the workgroup meetings unless anybody has anything else.
No.
All right.
Can I just,
Okay, sorry.
I would like to, from all of what we've been doing for the past couple of months, and what I've listened to from everyone, now, I'm not a very good speaker, so I had to write it down. One of the toughest jobs is being a parent and doing what is right for our children. As parents, it is our obligation to teach and guide them to make good choices, to allow children to be independent in their decisions as long as it does not harm themselves or others. Our biggest responsibility is to listen to children. They tell us a lot without speaking. The biggest challenge as a parent is not to persuade them based on our fears and preferences. Children will have a different point of view. I did not choose to be here for only my child. I made a choice to be here for all our children of the Granby community. All children in Granby should have the same choice to educate, no matter what their abilities are. There are frameworks that all the schools in the state must follow for all levels of learning abilities. It is the goal of Granby to be inclusive and save the town taxpayers money. Then all children need to be accommodated. If the schools cannot meet these needs, these children must move out of the schools to go up to other towns. This means there is a cost to the town for these students moving out of our educational support of Granby. We cannot continue to bring up the past. These decisions were based on the information that was available to them at the time. We need to look at the present and the future of the Granby school community. The only way to move forward is to think collectively and come to a decision that will bring the community together. Some things that I heard through observation and listening is the high school kids are not nice to the lower grade levels. Some of these comments were based on past personal experiences, some with siblings at the elementary level, with high school siblings, and others probably happening. My experience with my child being in the elementary and interacting with the high schoolers was always positive. They all respected each other and had a great respect for the elementary students. I can say that when my child went to the high school, I cannot say the same as the elementary students to the high schoolers. They did not treat them with respect. On many occasions, I had to tell my child that what is happening is not right and should not be repeated. This is a lot of work and at times exhausting. As a parent, what does that say about us as role models for our children? Children are a product of their environment. They repeat what they see. As a parent, it is up to me to tell my child to be respectful to all staff and students. The school community is implementing changes to teach students in the schools to be respectful. As parents, I feel that we should do the same outside of school. Children are different at home than at school. I'm not the smartest person here. This is not my thing. I do not have all the answers. I think collectively, as a community, working together, we can find a solution that will benefit all students, parents, and the school community who teach and protect our children while they are not with us. I want us as a community and as a team to be successful. It is going to be a difficult process and a painful one. We all have different ideas and strategies that will need to be combined into one. As a team, we should be able to come up with a goal that benefits the entire community of Granby and not just the schools.
Thank you, Jen.
Thank you for sharing that. I can kind of echo some of the same themes. I'm hoping that as we get into the next round of discussions, that we do kind of let the past go and focus on what is now and what the future may look like. I guess I'm going to try to do my best to keep it focused in that direction. And I know it's easy to kind of fall back and say, we should have done this, we should have done that, but I think we really need to make a strong effort to not do that and really focus on what we have and where we really want to go and what the best way to get there is. Now, with that being said,
So I'll ask a quick question then. Since did we start the budget process today?
We're gonna go over the calendar once we break out for our
Oh, so we're gonna come back. All right.
subcommittees.
so that subcommittee, do you need me in it? Because I'd like to go to the other committee to
Yeah,
share
no.
some of the things I wasn't able to share in the last meeting,
Nope,
specific to the community outreach piece.
nope,
Okay, that was my hope.
yeah, nope. But I just have a draft calendar that, I forgot Jim wasn't gonna be here today, but Jen and I can review it, and then if Jen's good with it, then we'll make it a final draft and post it so that everyone can, follow it as we move along.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Anything else we want to share before? We might even be ahead of schedule. Oh, that's a first.
So here's my question. We go till when?
It says here 7:30, so that's 45 minutes, and then we come back, and I'm hoping the other stuff, I know you have to give a report tonight, because you promised me the last meeting, if I skipped you,
Oh, boy.
you would give it tonight,
Yeah, I
right?
can do that, sure,
Yeah.
sure.
So with the hopes of being done by 8-ish,
Okay.
at the very latest, if that,
All right. So
No executive session?
no, it's not there yet. Okay.
now, does that answer your question? Because I don't.
It does answer my question, but I have a follow-up question to that. Then should we ask everyone if they're interested, they can come and join our subcommittee meetings too? Because, we have close to an hour.
They are open meeting also,
Right.
right? So they are able to join the meetings if they choose to join. The only thing is I don't know what we want to do with Alex. I don't want to have him just standing around doing nothing if he's got other things to do, and what we can do to help him out with that.
I was hoping that it would be front-loaded, so it would be done and then we would release them, but I guess we're gonna come back for more line items.
Well, no, there's no more line items, but what we've done in the past, rather than have the reports, all of them listed out, we've kind of come back and done a recap and get those out of the way while it's.
Right, but we also have Adam's report now?
Yeah, so, I can recap, our subcommittee meeting is that we're just gonna go over this calendar.
So may I just make this suggestion
That's in
then?
everyone's packet.
Thank you for offering that. So
Yeah.
if we do that, maybe we can start our next meeting with very quick blurb, which doesn't take more than 5-10 minutes anyway, of what happened here. In fact, we should have our minutes ready somewhere, and that they would be available also. I just feel, I hesitate to keep Alex here for that long if we're not gonna be.
Open to adjournment, so.
Well, that was my next question. If we come back, do we have to adjourn now in order to let him go?
We don't have to, but since there's nothing to record really, that will be worthwhile, then we can tell him to go. Either way, if you're gonna be staying, that's good, that's fine. In fact, you can come and join our subcommittee too, that's good.
Okay. So did you decide you're gonna stick around?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Okay then, well, good.
So, so the community outreach, you're gonna move over to
The room around the corner.
the second or third grade room that you've been going to?
Yes.
Okay, and then finance, you're gonna stay here?
Yeah. Do you want us to go somewhere so you guys can just stay here? No? I didn't know. It was easier.
No, because Emery likes to write up on the whiteboard.
Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna do that today, but sure.
So is there an update with the finance subcommittee? You talked about,
We were just reviewing the budget dates, so we made some changes, and then, once they're revised, they'll get put out on the,
I remember us talking about, and I know last year was tough with trying to get everyone's schedules together, but having another one of those like joint meetings where we had finance, select board, all, and I know we only did one last year, we tried to get another one on the calendar, but it was just really tough, but I'm assuming that's our goal again this year, is to have more than one of those.
well, I think that would be the goal, but if it, I think that would be the goal, but if it doesn't work out and/or we're where we need to be and everybody's on the same page, and maybe we don't need to go for
Okay.
Tuesday.
So we talked about that, and then also about adding another public hearing or forum. And memory serves me right, we wanted to have a public forum where we kind of had just a roundtable discussion with the public. But we also wanted to have a hearing where we presented just to the public what our budget is. Is that accurate?
That is accurate.
Okay. And do we want more than, did we have 2 public hearings last year? So do we want multiple public forums and then just one public hearing at the end?
Yeah,
Okay.
So the forums where you want them to, the public to speak, or
Yeah,
are we gonna try to have those early in?
so that was what we were talking about, as if that depended on how many we wanted to have, so yes. I would like, or we would think it's a good idea to have that, one early, one later on, and then a public hearing at the end. Once we have everyone's input, we have a pretty solid budget, then we'd have a public hearing.
So it seemed to me that if we wanted input, then we would want that as early, before we started
Yep.
getting our mindset in one direction.
Yep.
All right, the community outreach subcommittee?
oh, am I? All right, so with our visitors today, and thank you both very much for coming, we were talking about different ways of reaching the community. This is in addition to the brainstorming that we had done at our first meeting, which primarily focused on how we are sending communication out and then receiving communication. This was really to understand their perspective, because we always think from our own vantage point what may be helpful. So we came up with a few ideas, or they offered suggestions that we captured. For when there's a purpose, similar to what we had for our focus groups, having multiple focus groups or informational style meeting, they don't have to be called focus groups or informational, but some meetings with purpose, we will schedule those whenever they're needed, and budget is going to be a good example of that. The other suggestion was that, I don't know when we can start testing out, is at the end of the school committee meetings, visitors leaving notes of their thoughts, ideas, suggestions, whatever that may be, and then we use that as input to our to our analysis that we can share in electronic format afterwards. This is driven by the fact that our school committee meetings are business meetings, except for that visitors section, and it is not a discussion either. It's really for us to hear from the visitors. With this type of input, at least folks who take the time and come over, they will not feel like they did not get any chance to provide input on topics that were discussed after we had the visitors comments section. So that's something that we can do. Quarterly, we're going to have meetings at the school. Open topic, it can be anything. Hopefully it's going to have all the school committee members. We're going to call them chair talks, so our chair will be facilitating those conversations. But again, not structured around a purpose. It is open dialogue. Mr. Sargent had a suggestion, who I think left, whether or not we can have celebrations of student success. And as we are having those meetings around that, have some music, invite families, and use that opportunity to have conversations as well. The ongoing request is, if we have meetings of this nature, can we have childcare at some of these meetings, gatherings? And we're going to reach out to the student body to see how we can arrange that. Maybe National Honor Society, as they always did, can cover some, or maybe we can find some other design. We will discuss how we can reach out to our residents in general. Some of the venues where we can meet them. Senior Center, probably daytime is most convenient for them, so that's what we're going to do. But for other meetings with our community members, we can also meet at the library. We heard that some folks like meeting at Duncan or the Legion, and we can do that as well if they let us know in advance, and we can show up. The other idea was how do we engage, which is part of our strategic plan, by the way. How do we engage the elected officials? So the one nice finding of that is that not all of us are even familiar with who the elected officials are, which was a good feedback. So with our 2 state representatives and 1 state senator, we're going to see how we can bring them here. One suggestion was, can we have them for a school tour so that they see both schools, and then invite them to our school committee meetings at some regularity. We don't know how often they're going to be able to do that. And the final thing that we discussed is, again, something that I believe is in the strategic plan or some version of this, meeting with the school committees from our region to share issues that are common to all of us so that we can start brainstorming. And depending on the nature of those meetings, public can be invited and they can even participate. Again, I don't know what the nature of those meetings will be. So that's where we stopped.
Did we erase the board?
I believe I did.
Okay.
We can go back and check.
So, one thing I wanted to ask, please don't take what I'm going to ask as something that I don't want to go down this road, but the cards that get turned in at the end of the meeting, what do we think we're going to do next? Are we going to read them that night and speak about it, or are we going to speak about it at the next meeting? I'm not sure how that could play out. I want to make sure that the people who took the time to write something, I actually also get any input back that we may have.
I'm
back.
sort of thinking we read them into the minutes at the end. They would be anonymous and just comments of the meeting, and read them into our minutes, and then if there's anything that's worthwhile, we can either, because we're working on the agenda throughout the entire meeting, so if something comes up that we think needs to be addressed, can't we table it for the next meeting to have a discussion on?
I just want to make sure that we think that way too. It's like if somebody takes the time to write something out, that we actually give it.
Like at the end of the meeting, depending upon the number of cards, collect them and read them into the minutes and just see. So there's back and forth and feedback, but if there's something that comes up that we think needs to be legitimized or attacked or not attacked, but like discussed,
Worked on.
worked on, then we can, add it to the agenda for further discussion, and then there's time for people to have good thought surrounding it. I don't know.
I think having that kind of input is good. So I don't know how many we're gonna have or what
We
we're
can
gonna be able
pilot it
to
and
do
try
with it.
it.
Exactly, we can look at it, but since you asked, I don't suppose we're gonna go home and read it and do something with it the next day, but if we can compile it by our following meeting and do something with it and keep track of it, that would be
And some of
helpful.
them might just be, generic comments that, just, I appreciate you saying X, Y, Z, or thank you for your comment on this, or I want to make sure that we don't forget about this, that, or the other thing. And then some of them might actually be agenda items that we hadn't thought of, because it's like you say, the voice of the customer sitting there hoping that we touch on another subject because of,
Could, like, those type of topics be added to the next agenda instead of, because it depends on how long the meetings are running?
Well, I think we're always in charge of our agenda, right? I think if we go through, I think we need to pilot it. We need to try it for a few meetings. And this is also assuming that we're gonna have people here all the time. We've had great luck with the past month or so with people here, but we don't know how long that will go. So, as long as the 4 of you still keep coming, we're gonna have some comments, and there's visitors' comments as well, but, I think we need to pilot it and see how it works out and try it and see what the comments actually are, and can we do that? Can we just pilot stuff like that?
I don't see why
So
not.
to be honest with you, one of the reasons I was asking, because you mentioned it somewhere in your discussion, you don't know when we can start. I don't think we need to really wait any more time than maybe the next meeting, right?
So there was a
Although the third might be a little bit difficult with the other
Yeah.
things on the agenda for that.
Yeah.
We might want to just wait until the second meeting. But, that to me is about as fast as we can go with it.
So when we did one of the public focus groups on the budget, there was an app that I used that people could log in and they get a code and then
Oh,
they
yeah, I
can,
remember.
right?
Yeah.
So that might be a way to have people give us some feedback, and then that's captured.
Yeah.
That might be the easiest way
Yeah.
to start.
I did think of that, but I would thought that was like one word you could put up there. Maybe if like you could put a
Yeah,
phrase.
there's a couple of,
Okay.
I did a word splash, it was one word,
Yeah.
but there were other parts of the meeting that you could open it up and have like a paragraph, so people could, give us some feedback that way. And I would just like to remind everybody that providing and receiving feedback is an important part of the strategic plan. It's also the work that we're doing with students, and it can be challenging because feedback is warm and fuzzy, and how we give feedback, we don't do that often. But it is a goal of ours, so I think designing ways, systemic ways that we can receive feedback is important, and then what we do with it to make sure that it's a loop, that people are feeling that we're not just ignoring it, or, that it is recognized that we do read it. We might not talk about it at every meeting, but it does become part of our group think about the work that we're doing. I think that's important.
I just, while you were saying it, I just had a vision of that word splash going on when we had a meeting and people, what might be
That's not
popping
what
up.
I meant.
Yeah,
Could get interesting.
That's a little
Yeah.
crazy.
all right.
So were we gonna get a budget update for 2019 tonight, or did I misunderstand that? Like, if you don't have it ready, we can just,
We don't have it ready.
You
Okay.
misunderstood that.
okay, that's fine, I misunderstood.
Maybe I
an awful
misunderstood
lot
it
of
too.
stuff. Yeah.
So are we, at least, are we done with that budget? Is it?
Yes, yep, the
All right,
final
then.
report's been filed, yes.
Okay.
Okay, so we are done with that,
All right.
we don't have any,
No, not anything like happened last year, no,
Okay.
no, we are good.
Signed,
Yes.
sealed, and delivered.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good.
do you have a report that you wanna, I mean, I don't think you have on these nights, but if you don't, that's fine too. I just
No.
wanna know if there's anything else before I accept a motion to adjourn.
So just real quick, and I don't wanna get into it, cause we will when I have Chartwell's back, but the last meeting, we had talked about the October numbers, they looked really good. So I got final numbers today from Ken, and with the limited amount of serving days due to holidays and stuff, they're looking at worst case breaking even for this month, which is pretty good given the reduced amount of service days. But I had just gotten his email and breakdown at the end of the day, so I will share that with everyone once I have the time to actually dive into it. But
Okay. Good to know. That's it?
Anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
I have, no, we can do that, but I have one suggestion, and I think I mentioned this. If we can add the strategic plan to our agenda every so often for us to have a conversation around it, that would be great.
Okay. Yep, and then I still need to find time to reach out to you so we can start discussing how
Yes, yep,
reformat.
can do that. Yep, cool, I'll second that.
So, all those for?
Aye.
Aye.
All those against? Unanimous.